You went on to do Cowboys and Aliens as well, which I loved. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Do you have any fun stories about working on that film?
What was really cool for me was spending 2 weeks with Steven Spielberg. So he was in the editing room with us. His ideas would be just precision.
Lots of feedback, lots of working around it.
Yeah, and then he and Favreau sitting on the couch playing ukuleles while I was cutting away. Yeah, that was fun.
The first cut.
I'll just teach you simple cuts to start with.
Do you still have inmates in death row, and tell us what that means?
What death row is that we put a representative card for every scene in a movie up on the wall. And that way we can visually look and shift scenes. And what would happen if we move this scene here? What would happen? But
so it would change the story as you go through.
Well, and this way you don't have to make the edits to kind of understand what some of the ramifications are. Any editor who you interview here will tell you that they've every movie they ever do from the studio's perspective is 10 minutes too long. Doesn't matter how long it is. It could be 4 hours. It could be 20 minutes. It's 10 minutes too long. So they'll always give you that note. So then you go, well, I'm going to cut this scene. Put that on death row, and then they'll go, you can't cut that scene. Well, what do you want me to cut then?
25 to life.
Yeah.
At a death row. Let's talk about a couple pretty badass films, Iron Man and Iron Man 2. Perhaps you've heard of them. Again, Jon Favreau loves you to bits. Come on this journey with me. At what point did he bring you on?
Well, interesting on that one. Well, but by then we are, as you say, BFFs, I guess, right?
Yeah. Bromance.
Yeah, we're having our bromances.
Those dudes.
And we were supposed to do John Carter.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. At that time, John wanted to do it, and it was at Paramount, and he had done all this work, and it was all set to go, and for whatever reasons that these things happen, it got canceled. And so, as the story goes, they were dangling this thing to him, and he calls me, and he says, "Hey, come by." And I come by, and he says, "We're not going to do John Carter." I was like, "Oh, well, we're going to do Iron Man." I said, "Iron Man? So they're going to make a movie out of that Black Sabbath song, huh?" Iron Man is so rewarding for me because it's massively successful, but I also think it's really good. And it was really hard. It was a hard movie. The first cut was 3.5 hours long, and it's all over. And so there was a bit of that, and then there was hardcore structural issues to solve. A cave scene that in its first cut was 55 minutes long that turned out I think it's 25 in the movie. Yeah, but a lot of things happen, so how do you again squeeze that down into a usable piece? Personal high point for me was day it was released. I get a call on my cell phone as I'm driving, and I'm like, "Who is this?" And it's the freaking head of the studio. I was like, "Hi." And he's like, "I just want to tell you this is the best film I've ever been associated with." And I was like, "I guess it's all downhill from here."
Let me pull over right now before I crash my car. Within Iron Man and Iron Man 2, the shots that you see him and Don Cheadle in their suits, and then the shots from the point of view of inside their helmet and looking at their faces, I find that was done really well, because the whole thing is you've got these A-list actors, and if their face is covered for long periods of time during certain scenes, I feel like maybe a motivation to keep having the shots of inside. You want to still make sure it's them.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the thing, is that in looking at these things in the past, it became clear that the disconnect is once they get in their things and start flying around or swinging, whatever the superhero is, that you start to go, that's when, you know, the sophisticated audience starts to really wonder. So we were looking at it, and it was actually quite experimental. It wasn't, no one was sure it would work. And so they shot what they did, and it actually had to be shot a couple times because they figure out how to shoot this, but they put a camera in front of Downey's face against a green screen on a swivel thing. So the thing came swiveling back and forth, and then realized that, well, you actually didn't need to do all that. Some of that could be done in effects, but some of the performances were so good, so to use them. But then I remember I had to sit with one of the effects team and figure out exactly what the interactions inside the helmet were going to be. And that was really interesting, because now I look and they keep making them in Avengers and all this, and it's now convention, and it's really interesting when you do things before they were convention, but now they're convention, because now everyone knows what this should be. But at the time we were just experimenting to see, well, what could it be? And I would say that, and because people have been telling me the Marvel aesthetic these days, and it usually means this superhero mixed with humor thing. And I can assure you that that did not exist going in, that was a mixture that we all settled on, that we all, and there were talks, believe it or not, there were very serious discussions in the middle of post-production whether to take out all the humor or not, because you don't do these in superhero movies. So believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can see that the process of making a movie is this journey of discovery, and that those people who would sit in this chair and say that everyone knows what they're doing before and it just comes together is telling you a big, big, fat lie.
So you've got a lot of heavy effects films under your belt. How do you put something in an assembly or an edit knowing that you have to make quick decisions to get those shots to post, and that kind of, I mean, I feel like a seasoned editor can do it best, but you probably had to learn the hard way how to please everybody, and with the timing, how does that happen?
They shoot these background plates. First, they do these animatics. They have storyboards. They make them move. Then they actually make little animations to approximate what you're going to do. Then they send out crews and they shoot these background plates, and sometimes they have funny men who look like Teletubbies with things in their head running around to be stand-ins for where CGI effects are going to be. And on Cowboys Aliens, we had deserts full of these guys running and hopping around, like, it's like, and to be honest, we don't. A lot of this is you know what's supposed to happen in the story, but what happens in reality is they get these plates and then we decide what we can do with them. So the plates being the background of what you see. So if Iron Man is flying here, you see this swish pan along the freeway, and then we're going to put him in and he's going to fly over there. But it's based on, we had to look and see exactly what we can do with what they gave us.
So what is next for Dan?
What is next for Dan? Well,
let's talk in third person for the rest of the interview.
Well, if I was Dan,
what would you do? I would. Dan?
I'm about to do a pilot with Favreau starting on Monday. Strangely enough.
Favreau, you're homie.
I know. It's crazy. And then there's a talk of a film right after that. And also my interests have started to shift a bit, and have been interested in helping the process for all of us editors. So I set out to make my own nonlinear editing software, which is called TouchEdit. Okay,
well, we'll take a look at that on Tech Bites.
Tech Bites.
Which we will shoot in a bit.
I'll put on my bow tie for that one.
Oh my God, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming out. Dan Lebental, picture editor.